I got a notification that said it's being live streamed, so
Me too.
something worked.
Yeah, me too.
Okay, it looks like we are streaming live on Facebook. Technology worked for me today, Facebook family. Good afternoon. My name is Cassandra Berry, and I am a community educator with Denton County Friends of the Family. For those of you who are not familiar with us, maybe to the detail, regarding the details of what we do beyond what you see on Facebook, we are the sole provider of free services for victims of domestic abuse and sexual assault for all of Denton County. And we've been doing this now for over 40 years. And because we provide an essential function, we have remained open during this pandemic period. Welcome to each of you who are listening in. Today, our community conversation is about Lori's Joy, and it is the agency choir. I suspect that there are a lot of people who are not aware that we have this choir as a part of our opportunities for our volunteers, for our clients, staff, people in the community to be a part of. And while it is not technically, as the academic term, music therapy, it does provide therapeutic healing to persons who participate. We've been at different events where we performed and received positive response about the impact the message of the songs had on the lives of those who were attending. So I have a few people here with me today that is going to share a little bit about, the history of Lori's Joy, why we are so passionate about it. And hopefully through this, for any of you who are listening and have a desire to be in a choir, to sing, David can let us know later on what I told her about what key that we need to sing in. And that is something that each of you who have a desire can be a part. So with me today is the person who conceptualized and founded Lori's Joy, and that is Ann Tubbs. Ann Tubbs is one of our former board members, still very active with the agency. And she's going to tell us a little bit about how Lori's Joy came to be, why it's named as it is, and how and what her vision is and how it's been fulfilled now and in the future. I also have Dava Kellum, who's on staff here, like I am with Denton County Friends of the Family, one of our newest choir members, and was excited about being a part. So I'm going to let her share her thoughts around that and what the choir has done to benefit her. And then Carrie Lynn, who is with us. He's a volunteer with Denton County Friends of the Family. He works in the community. He can let us know about that and his relationship with the choir and why he supports that. So, and because it started with you, my friend, let's start the information sharing with you, because it is your vision. And I'm just thankful to have been sitting in the right place and the right time for us to connect with this. We were already connected, but this brought it to the next level. So Ann Tubbs, tell us a little bit about who you are and how Lori's Joy came to be.
Okay, thank you, Cassandra. It's great to be part of this discussion, because it is something that's really in my heart. I have been, as Cassandra mentioned, a previous board member. I'm not currently on the board, but have been a number of years over the years. I am still a volunteer, have been really committed to the work and the service that Friends of the Family provides in the community. I think it's just incredibly important work and provides wonderful services. The way Lori's Joy formed was my sister, Lori Harper, had leukemia and passed away on November the 3rd of 2017. She was also a wonderful supporter of Friends of the Family, strongly committed to the agency. And she was a kind, caring, passionate, loving person. And part of her passion was for music. She was a wonderful singer. She played guitar, she played ukulele, she played the piano, and was always feeling that music had something special to offer to people. So when she passed away, I thought for a couple of months about how I might do something that would honor and memorialize her. And at the same time, I thought maybe there's a way I can do this to connect with friends of the family. So I did a little bit of research and learned quite a bit about what music can do to help people heal, and how often it was used in lots of different ways. Sometimes with people who were suffering from Alzheimer's, sometimes war veterans. Sometimes it had been used with people who were survivors of domestic violence or sexual assault. So I thought maybe there's something we can do with this. So I did some more research, and I went and met with the executive director of Friends of the Family, Tony Johnson Simpson, and kind of shared with her my ideas. And we talked about it a little bit, talked about the possibility of maybe music therapy, maybe some potential for maybe a therapy camp of some sort in the future. And it wasn't until a few weeks later that the idea of a chorus hit me, because I kept thinking there's something more that I want to do. So I went back to her and talked to her about maybe doing a chorus of survivors and volunteers and community members. And she said, and I told her I thought I knew someone who had the musical background who could provide the actual music itself, but that I needed somebody with some voice skills and some connections with the agency. And she said, I just happen to know just the right person. And so she reconnected me again with Cassandra. And I had made the connection with Mark Graham, who is the music director at First Christian Church. And he had agreed that he wanted to be a part of this. So Cassandra and Mark and my brother-in-law, Lloyd Harper, and Hillary Hightower met together and sort of put the process in place. And so that's how it all began.
Thank you, Ann. And as I said, I was glad to be sitting at the right place at the right time. And Tony, who is our executive director, being familiar with my passion for music and the process of healing that can take place through music. And so it's been our honor to memorialize Lori in that way. And we wrote a song, didn't we, Ann?
Absolutely.
Yes, our theme song is Choose Joy. You want to talk about Lori's mantra?
Yes, thank you for bringing that up. When Lori was in the hospital, she had heard a song that had a line in it called "Let Nothing Steal Your Joy," and really wanted to sort of utilize that as sort of a kind of a motto for herself. And we, my youngest sister, Janie, had a way of connecting with having bracelets made. And I have mine on right here. You probably can't see what it says, but it says on the bracelet, "Choose Joy," because we had to sort of condense down the motto a little bit. So that became Lori's motto, her mantra, "Choose Joy." So when the choir was put together, we wanted to utilize that in a way. So we named the choir Lori's Joy after my sister. And we, Cassandra and Mark and another friend of Cassandra's, wrote a song that is called "Choose Joy" in honor of the choir and Lori and kind of the whole process. So that's how it came about.
Yes, friend of mine, Kevin Callahan, he and I started writing on it, and we used things that Ann had shared with us about the different passions of Lori, enjoying Kauai, and traveling there and visiting there, and her passion for the ukulele, and just life in general. And so that is our theme song now. And I'm glad to have been a part of the process of writing that along with Kevin, as well as Mark Graham, who will hopefully be joining us soon. He is our music director. And so he put the music to it and we finished out the words, and enjoy the joy of performing this song on a regular basis. I was so moved by the first time that we performed, which was in October of 2018. And we'll talk a little bit about what October is and when you might be able to see Lori's Joy perform within the next month or so. But that's the song is dedicated to Lori's memory and also to survivors of domestic violence and sexual assault that, you know, following a traumatic event, that you can resume and reclaim the joy in your life. And so the message is so strong and empowering and encouraging to those who may be in a dismal state, but know that there is joy available to them, and that what has happened to them does not completely define them. So again, thank you, Anne, for your passion and for memorializing Lori in that way and allowing us, Denton County Friends of the Family, to do so as well. Also with us is Kerry Lynn, and he's been with the choir now, I think a couple of years. You can correct me and tell us a little bit about who you are and your connection to Denton County Friends of the Family, and why we are so fortunate to have you as a choir member and to be one of our awesome soloists. So Kerry Lynn, tell us about what's going on.
I joined the choir, I want to say it was about 2 years. I think you're about right. It was about 2 years ago. I was actually referred by my friend Deja, who also works with Denton County Friends of the Family. And so I was a little hesitant at first to join, only because it's like it had been a while since I had sang or have been singing. So yeah, I have always used music as some type of therapy just to help me get through the day. Like that's always been my safe haven, to sing, listen to music, or write. So being in the choir has helped me tap back into that side of myself. And so it's been very beneficial to me, especially recently. I currently work for, why am I blanking on where I work? I currently work at Denton County MHMR as a service coordinator, and they were thrilled when I told them I was singing, because they had no idea, and I told them about Lori's Joy and everything. But yes, ma'am, that's a little bit about me.
Well, one of the song that Kerry does a solo part, and you get to do the solo on that song coming up in one of our events that you indicated that you're available, is Eric Clapton's Change the World. Do those lyrics, you know, what do those lyrics say to you, and what do you hope it says to people that are survivors especially?
To me, the lyrics really stand out because it's like, if I could change the world, like this is what I would do and this is how I could do it. And the message that I got from it is that it's not if you can change the world, you can change the world by making your own impact and making your own differences in the world, by being a better person, for one, and then helping those that need help. And so for victims of domestic abuse or domestic violence in general, I feel like they would be able to benefit from hearing a song like this, because it's like, if somebody could really reach out to me, if somebody could really change the situation that I'm going through, they would, or they could. And I feel like that it could be very beneficial for a victim to hear that, because that's what they need to hear. They need to hear that somebody is going to be there for them. They need to hear that somebody is going to listen to them and respect and appreciate them.
Absolutely. And so for your friends, family, peers, colleagues, what would you want to say to them about encouraging them to become a part of Lori's Joy, and that that there's really no pressures? You know, some people are like, well, I don't, you know, sing like this person to do this. Tell us a little bit why you think people should consider joining, and what was the comfort level for you to come on? You mentioned, getting back to something for which you have passion, but, you're coming back. I know I wouldn't have known that there was an absence from the music because the way in which you stepped in and handled that solo so well. And so tell us a little bit about what you want to say to people to consider Lori's Joy.
Well, first of all, thank you. But I feel like from the very first day, like I had a good time. Like, of course, it's about the music, but I just feel like there's always so much positivity and love when we meet with one another. And it's like a family reunion almost. Like tonight when we have rehearsal, we probably gonna chat a little bit. But it's like every time we get together, it's something we look forward to, seeing each other every week. So for those of my peers, colleagues, friends, family members, first of all, I'm in it. So yeah. And then second of all, it's just like it's a really good time. Like it's a really good time, and we have a good time being in the community and spreading awareness. Like it's just we just have fun. That's just what we do. So
Well, I really appreciate that because of the difference in our ages, and I'll own my senior citizen status, and and you honor yours too. And to have people of Carrie and Davis and other generation to be a part of this. I mean, we have people from various ages, backgrounds, status. There may be people in the choir who may be a survivor, and we don't know that because we don't focus on that. We focus on coming together as one group of people that we identify as Lori's Joy. And so there's no clique, there's no separation based on any group to which we may belong, based on our identity. And so I really appreciate that and enjoy that we have, a cross-cultural experience, and that at the end of the rehearsal, at the end of the performance, we all are feeling the joy that we sing about. So I just thank you. And so next I want Dava. Dava is one of our newest members, and didn't have to say anything, but we had a choir, and she says, "I'm there, and what do you need me to do to help?" And so Dava you can tell us where you are with the background that you have going on, and why you are part of the choir and what you appreciate about it, and just whatever you want to say about Lori's Joy and your relationship with it.
Awesome, thank you. Today I'm at UNT, actually. You can see Hurley Administration Building right behind me. I'm at a tabling event for Denton County Friends of the Family today. As the development coordinator, a big part of my job is recruiting volunteers and recruiting partners for our work at Denton County Friends of the Family. And one of my favorite programs to recruit for, you would guess it, is Lori's Joy. So Cass mentioned that it didn't take much persuasion to get me to join the choir. And what she might not know is that's because I have a personal conviction, a rule that I live by, which is I do not say no to opportunities to sing or dance. This has nothing to do with a talent or a need to sing or dance. I just believe that if someone asks you to do that, you should. It's a very easy thing. So I'm not as good of a dancer as I am a singer, but they let me join in and they let me have a good time at Lori's Joy, and I'm deeply, deeply appreciative of it. I do have a lot to say about Lori's Joy, surprising no one, and have gained a lot from it even in my short time. I did want to talk about that. So I'm going to start with the most important and then work my way down in terms of the benefits I've gotten from this organization. But so first and foremost, I'm not going to mince words. I don't have a filter, and I care very much about what we do with this agency. So I'm just going to be straight up and tell our audience, Lori's Joy for me is about saving lives. Full stop. Before I joined the choir, before I joined this agency, I identified as a feminist and an ally to women. I identified as a survivor of domestic violence, and these issues are important to me. And as I mentioned, I identified as someone who loves to sing. It didn't really occur to me how all of these activities are connected and how all those parts of myself are connected in Lori's Joy. But what I've found since working at this agency is that when people are most alone and most isolated is when they are least likely to reach out for help. I also learned that when you are most isolated is when you are most in danger of a lethal domestic violence interaction. By creating this space in the community and having a place, having an organization that stands for nothing but we are here for you, we make it possible for our clients to reach out. So when you join this choir, or even if you just want to go out and tell people that you're in our choir, you don't even have to sing. If you just want to tell them that you're in the choir and recruit for us that way, you are doing good work. You are saving lives for us. It really is that essential and that critical. So starting there with the stakes, I also found that there's been a lot of other benefits, just practical benefits to getting plugged into my community, and especially that intergenerational aspect, and that the fact that I can run into coworkers and colleagues who are my peers, and I can run into board members and people who are my supervisors at choir practice, as well as community leaders and people who have been working in the nonprofit industry in my community for years. There is absolutely an element of professionalization and I hate to say it, but networking that you can accomplish here because you are connected to other people in your community with nothing else but this core value that you share. And that's not something that you can get. Like, I love Rotary Club, I love Kiwanis Club, I love all the clubs that you can join in Denton, but it is not, they are not formed on this like active value of creating a safe place for survivors and for saving lives in our community. So I really just can't say enough about what Lori's Joy has done for me, and how it continues to create this lens for me to understand our work with Denton County Friends of the Family. It's really been very impactful for me, and I appreciate it a lot. So that's all I have to say, but I'll pass the mic back to Cassandra.
Thank you, Dava. And I just love your excitement about being a part of the choir. And not only is she a singer, tell us about the instrument that you play.
I unfortunately forgot it today, but this was another one of the big reasons that I had to join Lori's Joy. I play ukulele. Again, it's not that I'm talented at it. It's not that I'm not particularly disciplined as a ukulele player. You really just need 3 chords, and you can be a prolific ukulele player. And I've had the privilege of getting to play ukulele at Anne's house for her and her husband Larry. So it really is, the ukulele is such a joyful instrument. You can play a sad song on the ukulele and like cathartic those feelings, but you just can't be sad playing the ukulele. It is just this wonderful source of joy. I actually started playing it when I was a collegian at UNT. Me and my best friend, we lived together in college, and we would toss the ukulele back and forth. That was our way of hanging out, and it's just yeah, it's a huge source of joy in my life for sure.
Thank you. And you also, we consider ourselves a family, a family of choir members, who show appreciation one for the other. And recently we had a birthday gathering for our music director, and Dava and another young lady who plays the ukulele played beautifully, dedicating a birthday song to him. And so some of the points that you made, Dava, are so important for the people to know. One of the things that we promote through our mission statement of providing compassionate and comprehensive services and partnering with the community to promote safety. You talked about choir rehearsal and our being together being a safe place. In that is a desire and a need for many people who are victims as well as survivors. And so I really like that you emphasize that coming to Lori's Joy and being in that space and place with others provides you with a sense of safety that so many people are in need of. So I appreciate that. And I want to circle back around to you about, what have been your observations? Anne is the founder, the one who got this started. We haven't convinced her yet to to sing with us. She sings during rehearsals, but as far as going live at performances, we haven't gotten her to that point. Her husband, Larry, sings. I've talked him into doing a solo part on Choose Joy. So, from you sitting, from where you sit during rehearsals, what you have seen during the times that we performed at the various upcoming events, the camaraderie that you see with the people who are part of Laura's Joy. What is your observation, especially as relates to the work that we do and what Denton County Friends of the Family represent?
I think that's probably the most uplifting part of all of it is the rehearsals themselves are joyful. Even people come sometimes and you can tell they feel burdened when they get there, but inevitably when they leave, they are always feeling hopeful. And we hope that those are the same kinds of messages that as the choir performs in public, that they also offer that sense of hope to people and that sense of support. Because we know, though we don't ever, as Cassandra mentioned, and even though Dava emphasized that she's a survivor, we don't, discuss that, but inevitably people over periods of time will suggest that that's part of the reason that they're there, because they are a survivor or they've known someone who was a survivor. And most all of us do, almost all of us know someone who has experienced sexual assault or domestic violence. So anytime there is an opportunity to be either part of a group or to go and listen to a group of people who are singing and performing and trying to be a positive influence and a hopeful sign, I think that's just something that I see every single time the chorus performs. Almost every single performance. I can't actually think of any where the choir wasn't given a standing ovation by the audience. People are really moved by the music and by the reason for the existence of the choir and for how it can impact people's lives. And I think that that's what I've observed. I feel like my sister smiles every time the choir performs, whether it's rehearsal or otherwise. So I feel like that's just something that I've observed over these last couple of years. And, I have no reason to think that won't continue to be the case, because I just feel like, and, Mark is, though he's not with us right now on this conversation, he always says that no matter what, the choir always just does an amazing performance. And that's true. And the results of that are that people are really uplifted and hopeful, I think.
Well, I'm okay with saying this because it happened publicly, but at our first performance, which was in October of 2018, it brought tears to the eyes of our executive director. And it was a proud moment for her to see people coming together and using their skills and talents and, fulfilling their potential in providing a form of music therapy to the audience and especially to survivors. One of the songs that I helped to co-lead, and Dava is an alternate lead soloist for the song Rise Up. So in the same way that Carrie talked about the lyrics to Change the World, David, what does that song mean for you? Because I was so excited when you volunteered immediately that in the absence of Aaron, you'd be happy to co-lead that. So why was that why was that so important for you to be able to sing and promote that song to our audience?
Y'all are gonna be lucky if I can get through this without crying, but I'm gonna try. For me, the lyrics Rise Up. It goes back to that idea of community, and that we ourselves are both like a product of our community, but we also are an agent in building that community. in Rise Up, the subject is it's kind of one person speaking to another, letting them know that it's not an issue. It's not a matter of you need me in order to rise up. It's we need each other, and you are going to rise up. You are going to get through this, and I have the privilege of watching you do that. So yeah, that's what I think of when I think of those lyrics. I'm thinking not just of the people that we help, but the opportunities that we give our clients to help each other, to help our community, because their voices and their lives matter. They matter to our community, not just because they're alive and not just because they're human, because they have something beautiful and wonderful to contribute to everyone. And I get a front row seat in watching those contributions to our community. It's an incredible privilege. Absolutely one of the deepest privileges of my life.
Well, thank you, David. One of the songs that we first learned, in addition to our theme song, and you introduced it to us. You saw this video and of an agency or community that advocates for survivors. And the song is titled One Voice. And I remember the two of us sitting in my office and talking about Lori. I'm like, dude, Dave, I'm gonna tear up. And, listening to that song and the lyrics. So, and, tell us what moved you about the song. I could talk on and on about it, but tell us how drawn you were to that and how it just really spoke to, your vision about the choir and using music as a form of therapy, empowering, and, promoting the safety, hope, healing, justice, and prevention.
Yes, there was actually the people who originally wrote the song. It was a woman whose partner was killed in a domestic violence circumstance, and she went to her partner's family because they were all musicians, and she was a musician as well, and asked them to work with her to write a song. And they wrote this song called One Voice. And it begins talking about this is the sound of one voice, and it's one voice speaking. Then it's the sound of two voices, and it shows two people singing. Then the sound of voices three, and it's three people singing. And then it's the sound of all of us, and it's a whole community of people singing. And then the whole group of people comes back together to talk about being one voice together. And I think the message there is that in starting out on these tragic journeys, sometimes people feel alone. They oftentimes for a while are alone. Then gradually, if they can find an agency like Friends of the Family, they find a support system that begins with maybe one person or two people or three, and they realize that they're part of a larger group of people, and then maybe are actually become, because of their healing process, part of the larger community again. And they realize that really all of us are one together, that we really are stronger together, and we really have wonderful potential for healing and helping others if we work together to do that. And that's sort of what I saw in that song. And because it was arranged as a choral arrangement, and we were putting together a choir, it seemed like a perfect song to use to try to get that message through. And fortunately, we were able to use it. And I think it's been, I still find it to be really powerful. It's very moving to me. But that's kind of how I encountered it and why it was an inspiration to me.
Thank you, Anne.
Mm-hmm.
Kara, I want to come around back to you and kind of put you on the spot here. The majority of the people who work here, as well as volunteers, most of us are females, identify as females. And so as a male, being, an advocate, and because I can say this because of my age, a young advocate for the work that we do and being a part of Laura's Joy, what would you want to say to the men about supporting the work that we do? And if there's any of the songs that we performed or getting ready to perform that really gives you encouragement, and you hope that it does the same for the people who either have heard it because we've already performed it or getting ready to, talk a little bit about that for us.
Okay.
Not for me. Okay, yeah.
So for as far as like male advocates, I would say for me, I got a lot of education and information prior to joining Laura's Joy, but I got even more as I began to join like further along into the group. And so for me, being a young male advocate, it has meant a lot because I come from like a single parent household, a single mother household. So it's like, to me, it means a lot to just stay up to date with education and information pertaining to domestic abuse and domestic violence, because you never know who could be going through that situation. And victims are also male. And so that's another thing that males should also be more informed about and should be okay reporting if that is something that is happening to them as well. But the overall message that I've gotten from the choir with regards to me being like a young advocate is to just be educated, stay informed, and to be open-minded as well, because you have no idea who is going through a situation like that. Like it could be somebody next to you, it could be a close friend, a colleague, a coworker, it could be anyone, and you would never know. So just by being open-minded, just by staying informed, and just by staying educated, I feel like that can really go a very long way. As far as songs, one song that I've always like enjoyed singing is Choose Joy. I don't know, it's just a fun song to sing with everybody.
It's the streamers.
Yeah. I'll be trying to avoid the stream.
Everybody does but me. Me and David, we love the streamers.
But yeah, Choose Joy is a good one. And then we have another song. What's the name of it? By Stevie Wonder. I forgot.
Love's in Need of Love Today.
Love's in Need of Love Today. Yeah, that song. I really like that song. Because it just really, to me, it says like, we all need love. And it's easy to spread love if you're filled with love. And it's just like, it's easy to pass on love. Well, it's not easy for everybody, but once you're able to open up and express joy or love to someone in need, they can do the same and pass it along. So,
well, one of the things that you said, all of what you said is appreciated, but the awareness, and meeting people where they are. And so you're, being introduced to Laura's Joy, and through, your friend Deja, learning about, make you learn more about the agency and what are the realities about domestic violence and sexual assault. And it's important for us to increase that awareness on a daily basis. And so we can bring people in through a common passion of music and then provide information and education, then that increases the number of advocates that we have in our community for the work that we do. And so I really appreciate, your taking time, not just to be about the songs, but to also learn more about what we are doing and how you can help spread the message. Our agency, as I mentioned, we're 40 years young, and we have a staff of about 75 part and full-time people. And we serve all of Denton County and actually beyond. So Denton County in and of itself is over 800,000 people. And so to have persons in the community helping us to increase the awareness will hopefully result in a decline the occurrence of domestic violence, and letting people know early on, especially, with regard to verbal and psychological abuse, and, calling it what it is, and knowing to seek help before the escalation into physical and sexual abuse. So I applaud you for, learning more about what we do, and not just, about the music. And so about, the choir, I mentioned that we have some things coming up. We've had the opportunity to sing at different events sponsored through the agency that we do each year, and all are in mostly October, April, with our Domestic Violence Awareness Month, Sexual Assault Awareness Month. We perform for our recognition of the law enforcement that support the work that we do, and our I'll say, and our fan base has grown such that for us, we have several things coming up that we have been invited to be a part of, or David has made people aware, hey, we have a choir, do you want us to be there? And so Mark Graham and I were asked to provide the music for an upcoming wedding of a mutual friend. And she asked, well, do you have like some background vocals to back you up on a couple of those songs, maybe, a choir? And we're like, yes, we do. And so Loris Joy will be singing at a private function at a wedding on the 25th of this month. There is an event that's a wine walk in Holland Village, where we will be performing there on September 30th. And this information will be on our Facebook page, so you can check out our dates and where we'll be. That is a public event giving support to friends of the family. On October 7th, we will be at the North Texas Fairground for a benefit that is being sponsored by Right Law and Title Company. They're hosting an Oktoberfest, and so Loris Joy will be performing for that event. And then our next event is in, I'm going to share my screen here. And it is called Healing Through the Arts. And it is scheduled for Thursday, October 14, 2021. Pre-event will begin around 6:30. Our program will kick off around 7, and we will have people performing dance, singing, poetic expressions, musical presentations, and will be held at the Greater Denton Arts Council on October 4th. And so we invite you there. We'll give you details as it relates to having only a certain number of people to attend, so that we can practice safety protocols with regard to social distancing, wearing of masks and temperature checks. So please check out the details coming up about how to be a part of Healing Through the Arts, or just attending. And so we're real excited about that event. We are also scheduled to, we've been invited to sing during the Denton Christmas tree lighting event that will be held on December 3rd. And so we are looking forward to you all joining us or being there when we perform. Mark and I also perform twice a month at Sweetwater Grill and Tavern for what we call the Gospel Hour. And so in October, we hadn't even made the choir aware of this because I kept forgetting, but I'll let you all know, and those who are listening will find out that hopefully those who are available will be there on October 10th, so that we can do a number during that Gospel Hour time to encourage people to come to our October 14th event. And so hopefully you can be a part of those activities, events, and stay tuned to our Facebook page about how you can be a part of those. If you have any questions about how to be a part of the choir, feel free to reach out to me. I'll put in the comments my office number as well as my email address. We welcome everyone. And those of you who are listening, I want you to do something for me wherever you are. So you do that. Through the atmosphere, I hear you, and you all pass the audition, and you are now can be a part of Laura's Joy, because we sing in the key of what, David?
We sing in the key of W, and that's for willing.
And if your willingness seems to kind of go off scale, what will bring you back is a key of N. Sing what the person next to you is singing. And so it all works out and it comes together rather beautifully. Anything else we need to add? I want to show a video clip of a taping of us singing Rise Up, which is one of Tony Johnson Simpson's favorite songs. And Carrie, David, have I missed anything before we go to that? Okay, well, let me see if I can share. You know, technology is not always great with me, but I'm going to do my best and show you a video clip of when we were being recorded as part of our 40th year gala that we had virtually in October of last year. So hold on.
You're broken down and tired of living life on a merry-go-round, and you can't find the fighter, but I see it in you, so we're gonna walk it out. Ooh, mountains, we're gonna walk it out. And I'll rise up, I'll rise like the day, I'll rise up, I'll rise unafraid, I'll rise up, and I'll do it 1,000 times again. And I